From the hypnotic glare of Bette Davis eyes to the timeless beauty of Endless Love, 1981 brought all kinds of sounds to the top of the charts. Some songs made you dance, some made you cry, and some made you hit rewind before the chorus even ended. These are all the #1 hits that ruled 1981. The Tide is High, Blondie. This was not a typical Blondie song. The Tide is High drifted in with reggae rhythms and girl group harmonies. Debbie Harry set aside her punk snarl for a relaxed sway, and somehow it felt like summer on vinyl.
I'm not the kind of girl who gives up just.
It spent 1 week at #1 after its release by Chrysalis Records. The song was originally recorded by the Paragons, but Blondie gave it a polished, new wave gloss. It was unexpected, and it worked. After one calm week on top, the groove picked up and the party officially started with this next song. Celebration, Kool and the Gang. Celebration was not just a song, it was an announcement. Kool and the Gang created something bigger than a hit. They created the go-to soundtrack for every birthday, graduation, and wedding reception for decades. It stayed at #1 for 2 weeks and was released by Delight Records. With a call and response chorus and unstoppable beat, the track felt like one long exhale of joy. Even now, the title alone tells you exactly what it sounds like. The party lights faded just long enough for a different kind of worker anthem to take the stage. 9 to 5, Dolly Parton.
Use your mind and they never give you credit.
Typewriters, coffee mugs, and fighting for respect. 9 to 5 captured all of it with a smile. Dolly Parton turned office struggle into a pop country powerhouse. Her voice was sweet, but the message was sharp.
9 to 5 for service and devotion.
The track hit #1 for 2 weeks and was released by RCA Records. Tied to the film of the same name, it became a cultural rallying cry. Behind the upbeat sound was a truth that millions of workers recognized instantly. Next up, a softer voice under darker skies, a country hit that snuck up and held its ground. I Love a Rainy Night, Eddie Rabbitt. This one had the rhythm of windshield wipers and the bounce of puddles under boots. I Love a Rainy Night blended country charm with a pop backbone. Eddie Rabbitt delivered it with a grin in his voice, making stormy nights feel like something to dance through.
I love to feel the rain on my face, taste the rain on my lips.
Released by Elektra Records, it spent 2 weeks at #1. The track became Rabbitt's biggest crossover hit and brought country squarely into the pop spotlight. It was easy to sing, easy to like, and impossible to ignore. As the storm cleared, a power ballad stepped up, built on heartbreak, loyalty, and big guitars. Keep on Loving You, REO Speedwagon. This was drama turned all the way up. Keep on Loving You came in slow, then burst into full rock power. Kevin Cronin's voice cracked at the edges, and that was the point. It was not perfect, it was honest. Released by Epic Records label, the track stayed at #1 for 1 week. It became REO Speedwagon's first chart topper and one of the most iconic power ballads of the decade. Guitar solos, piano swells, and a chorus that stayed long after the song ended. And then everything changed. The beat dropped, the mood shifted, and Blondie came back with something completely different. Rapture, Blondie. This was the future wrapped in funk. Rapture was a bold blend of disco, new wave, and something that sounded like early hip-hop. Blondie brought rap to the Billboard #1 spot for the first time, and it came with space aliens, street scenes, and wild rhythm. It held the top spot for 2 weeks after it was released by Chrysalis Records. The song's influence reached far beyond its chart run, paving the way for genres to blend in ways few imagined at the time. Debbie Harry did not just sing, she talked, rhymed, and rewired pop music. Coming up next, a smooth duo stepped in with harmonies and heart, ready to reclaim the top spot. The one that you love, Air Supply. Air Supply knew how to take their time. The One That You Love drifted in on soft keys and strings, letting every note land gently. It was a love song with no urgency, no tricks, just a slow, sincere promise sung with open hearts.
Tell me we can stay, oh please.
It spent 1 week at the top after it was released by Arista Records. The song became the duo's first and only chart topper in the United States. It didn't shout to be heard. It just stayed calm and let the melody do the work. But then the calm broke. The guitars kicked in, and a raspy voice took over. Jessie's Girl, Rick Springfield.
You know I wish that I had Jessie's girl.
This one hit like a bolt of teenage frustration. Jessie's Girl was jealousy you could sing along to. Rick Springfield delivered it with grit, hooks, and just enough swagger to make everyone believe he meant it.
Where can I find a woman like that?
For 2 weeks, it stayed at number 1. Released by RCA Records, Springfield's mix of pop rock and soap star charisma turned this into his biggest hit. One guy, one guitar, and one friend who clearly didn't deserve that girl. After all that angst and guitar-driven passion, the charts took a breath. The next number 1 floated in on a soft breeze, wrapped in city lights and the quiet charm of a yacht rock ballad. Arthur's theme, Best That You Can Do, Christopher Cross. This song lived in the soft glow of city lights. Arthur's theme was polished, dreamy, and quietly triumphant. Christopher Cross sang with a gentle clarity that never rushed. The hook, When You Get Caught Between the Moon and New York City, was an instant classic. It spent 3 weeks at number 1 when it was released by Warner Brothers Records. Co-written by Burt Bacharach and Carol Bayer-Sager, the track became the centerpiece of the film Arthur and the crown jewel of Cross's brief but brilliant chart reign. As the last notes faded, another familiar voice returned. This time he was no longer singing backup. Private Eyes, Daryl Hall, and John Oates. The claps, the synth stabs, the stalking hook. Private Eyes was a pop surveillance anthem dressed as a love song. Hall and Oates made Paranoia sound catchy, using spy theme energy and that signature blue-eyed soul groove to great effect. The song reached number 1 and stayed there for 2 weeks. Released by RCA Records, it marked another milestone for the duo, proving they could turn even suspicion into a sing-along. They were not just watching, they were winning. Private Eyes had the groove, the mystery, and the mainstream appeal, but what came a few months prior helped cement their status as pop icons. Kiss on My List, Daryl Hall, and John Oates. This song wore a smile, but there was distance behind it. Kiss on My List was bright and catchy, but it spoke about wanting something more. Hall's vocals carried both affection and hesitation, turning a sweet chorus into something more complicated. The track stayed at number 1 for 3 weeks after RCA Records released it. It marked a major turning point for Hall and Oates, launching a streak of hits that would define their decade. It sounded cheerful, but it always made you wonder what wasn't being said. And then, the mood shifted again. A newcomer boarded the pop train and rode it straight to the top. Morning Train, 9 to 5, Sheena Easton. This was optimism in motion. Morning Train bounced with innocence, telling the story of a woman waiting for her man to come home from work. Sheena Easton sang it with a kind of wide-eyed cheer that was rare even then. It hit number 1 for 2 weeks. Released by EMI America, the song marked Easton's breakthrough in the United States and gave her one of the year's most surprising chart victories. It was pure, clean, and unapologetically upbeat. Next came a sound that had eyes, attitude, and chart dominance like no other. Bette Davis Eyes, Kim Carnes.
She got Bette Davis eyes.
This song didn't just enter the charts, it stalked them. Bette Davis Eyes was smoky, sly, and built on mystery. Kim Carnes' raspy voice floated over an icy synth line like someone telling a secret too cool to whisper. Nothing else sounded like it. It spent 9 weeks at number 1 after its release by Capitol Records. The track won Grammy Awards for Record of the Year and Song of the Year. For nearly the entire summer of 1981, Kim Carnes and those legendary eyes owned American radio. It wasn't just a hit, it was a mood. Then, from all that elegance and shadow, came a strange flashback, a musical time machine that played the past in rapid fire. Stars on 45, Stars on 45. This one was a medley, but not like anything you had heard before. Stars on 45 was a non-stop disco remix of Beatles hits with other classics woven in for good measure. It sounded like a jukebox stuck on fast forward and people loved it. It stayed at number 1 for 1 week and was released by Radio Records. While the group behind it quickly disappeared, the song made history as the first medley to top the Hot 100. It was a novelty, yes, but it was also a weird and wonderful pop experiment that somehow worked. It was playful, unexpected, and gone in a flash. But now we close out with something much slower, much deeper, and impossible to forget. A hit song that topped the Billboard charts for 9 good weeks. Endless Love, Diana Ross and Lionel Richie. Endless Love was not just a duet, it was a moment. Diana Ross and Lionel Richie met in the middle of a melody so soft it felt like a whisper. The strings were lush, the lyrics were simple, but the emotion was overwhelming.
Two hearts that beat as one.
Released by Motown Records, the song dominated the charts for 9 weeks. It became one of the most successful duets of all time, launching Richie's solo career and reinforcing Ross's legacy. It didn't just top charts, it left people breathless. And that wraps up the list. Every one of these songs held the crown, even if just for a week. Some became legends, some faded fast, but every single one of them claimed the top spot. Which track still lives in your head rent-free? Let us know in the comments, and if you want more journeys through music history, like and subscribe. More Throwback Gold is coming soon.